Today, we're joined by Kyle Cheng, a real estate agent who brings a rare mix of experience, hustle, and perspective. Kyle's journey into real estate wasn't a straight line. He came from acting, which is pretty cool, hospitality, and even fitness before finding his path as a real estate agent. Along the way, he's worked with everyone from first-time homebuyers to seasoned investors, and he's known for keeping it real, adapting quickly, and helping people see what's possible. His story is about evolution, grit, and finding meaning in the work beyond just the transaction. Let's get into it, or as I like to say, let's boogie. However, Kyle is in the middle of reading, so let's give him...
I apologize. Are we rolling? I'm sorry. I was just very engrossed in the innovator's dilemma.
How was it? Spectacular?
It was fantastic, but I actually don't know how to read, so that's a problem.
I find that hard to believe. Kyle, thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Always good to have you. You offer us interesting perspective of the business. One of the many reasons that we love working with you and we love just talking to you, and you've heard me say this many times, is that you're a professional, but not just in the do all my due diligence type of professional. Like, you're pleasant to work with. You have a great communication style, which not only I appreciate, but my team appreciates. It's like they always say it's such a nice person to work with. Because you know what it's like. It's New York real estate. People are sharky. So when we come across someone who isn't that way, we do appreciate it and we don't take it for granted. So before we get into some more lovey-dovey stuff, and we talked about this briefly, that we'll touch on your origin story, what I want to get into is the acting.
Oh, sure.
Right, let's give us what happened there. You studied acting at Hofstra?
Yes. Okay. So I've been a performer most of my life. The first play that I ever did, I was in 5th grade.
Which play?
It was a play that was created for the 5th graders to do.
Wasn't Macbeth?
Had something to do. No, it wasn't. No, exactly. No, we weren't trying to kill one another on the 5th grade stage.
Right.
But I have been in the Scottish play. I have done Shakespeare before. Cool. I have done musicals before. The last performance that I did was in 2019. I played Gomez Addams in the Addams Family musical.
No way.
Where
was that?
That was at Merrick's Theater. So if you're familiar with Merrick, the Long Island theater scene, there is a theater that is right underneath the Long Island Railroad, and I played Gomez Addams in that production.
That must have been really fun.
It was super fun. Yeah. It was really fun. I got to not only do my best Jose Andres impersonation, who is a Spanish chef, very famous chef. I based my entire accent off of his, and then from there went into some sword play. Yeah. But moving forward on that. So yes, I do have a degree in theater from Hofstra University, and my love for performance really came from just what I love to do. I like to be a silly guy.
Yeah.
You know? If you read my Instagram profile right now, the very first line says, "Silly guy, serious realtor."
Ah,
that's me.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, and that reflects also in your content.
Yes.
Right. I think your content's really fun. What was it? One of the most memorable ones was the ping pong one.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, that one and the tux. I love that one.
The ping pong one is, of course, a reference to now they say that it was like a falsified video, but there's a video of Bruce Lee in nunchucks, going ahead and using his precision to go ahead and play ping pong with a pair of nunchucks.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? The thin nunchuck, the ping pong ball, how could he be so accurate? And so I just applied that idea to real estate. I want to be laser focused on this idea of hey, if you work with me, be prepared to, one, not only really enjoy the experience, but B, taken aback by how serious I take everything and how I really have a system in place in terms of my communication, in terms of the through line of every transaction. I want to make sure that anybody that's working with me feels so taken care of, and that I think of almost everything that could possibly happen, that they're never reaching out to me and being like, "Hey, is this getting done? Hey, you said this was going to happen," because that's the worst part of a real estate transaction. When your client, when your other parties, vendors, et cetera, that you're working with, they ever have doubt. Did they ever have doubt that something's getting done? And I never want that to happen.
You're proactive in your approach to keeping them updated. Like I said, a professional. Something I wanted to go back to quickly, which I've, I have my thoughts on this where it makes sense for you, but being the silly guy but the serious realtor, do you find that, one, it attracts a certain type of client that is more pleasant for you to work with, that you vibe with people that, they want to get it done, but they also like more, not necessarily relaxed, but aren't as combative? And do you also feel that it makes the transaction itself smoother because of that? Meaning, because they're more relaxed, they're more willing to listen, because you essentially, what's the word? Like, do you disarm them with your humor and then reel them in with, like, this is how we do this is our approach, and this is how we're going to get your goals accomplished, kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. It's more from almost a selfish standpoint. I want to attract the type of client and the type of person that I really want to work with. So it's a person that's going to have to deal with kind of the silliness factor of it.
It's selfish, but it's selfless, because you're attracting the best type of person that you can help.
Absolutely.
Right? You'll jive better with them and they'll have a better experience. So it's a funny way to put it, but the truth is that it is selfless.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. You're right. It is selfless. It's because I want to be a helpful person, and I want to make sure that they understand that this is a very serious kind of transaction, and you have to approach it with already a system in place, which is what I have. And then,
Can you tell us about that system?
About the system itself?
Yeah, no, you don't have to give us, the secrets, unless you want to.
The entire playbook, guys?
Yeah, well,
this is exactly how you break it down.
Well, the truth is, even if you did give it all away, and let's say you had some proprietary stuff, 99% of people aren't going to copy it anyway, right? Like, I gave a speech like 6 months ago, and my entire process, start to finish, for like building rapport and running podcasts and CEs and all this stuff, and not a single person copied it. But yeah, please continue. Sorry.
So, I mean, the easiest way to do this and to kind of break it down for people, I let people know that, hey, if I'm speaking to a client, right? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, we are going to be best friends for the next 6 to 9 months. Are you ready for that? And everybody's like, wait, what do you mean we're going to be best friends? Like, no, best friends in that I'm going to handle everything in terms of your transaction. You're probably going to hear from me more than you hear from your family members. Once to twice a week at minimum, we're going to be on a phone call talking about every aspect of this transaction, whether I'm helping you on the listing side, right? I'm going to go over with you what happened over the weekend, how many showings we've had. I'm going to lay out exactly how the photos are going to work out. Prime example, I just listed a property in Elmont, New York. Before hand delivering the contracts, because my client is 85 years old, and I didn't want her to have to go through the process of looking in her email or figuring this out, right? I already knew that this was going to take a little bit more of a human approach, because she was reluctant to sell, because this was her family home. She's been there since 1967.
Wow.
Right? She's been in this one house almost her entire adult life. So I knew that it would take a little bit more self-care. So just being able to show up and actually hand deliver the paperwork was huge to them. And while I went through the entire process and made sure she understood everything she was signing, right after that, I walked through room by room with her daughter to tell her exactly what had to get done before we took photos for the property. So can you talk, I know it's a really simple example, but can you talk about the purpose of that? I know the answer, but like the purpose of like what has to get done in each room, what does that do for the client? Absolutely. So for most consumers, they probably just assume that we've either photoshopped photos or we've, put a wide camera lens on the camera to make it look bigger, right? Yeah. But then you'll also notice that there are several people out there that have no care. They will take photos with their cell phone, or they will just have one picture of the outside of the house. I can't do that. Professional photography should be an absolute minimum. It's one of the, it's called of course marketing. Yeah. Of course we are going to do this. Of course this should be done. And I'm going to say it over and over again until it becomes mandatory that people start using professional photography for their listings. And doing the simple things of, hey, if you could take this stack of magazines that's been there for the last 20 years and either decide if they're going to in a box so that they can go with you when you move, or they're going to the trash can. And this helps people also let go of things, because big thing with, you know, if you're just a single person living in a house, you accumulate so many things and you don't even realize it, but you've probably associated some sort of emotion, some sort of memory with that, and that's why you're holding onto it. And so many times people walk through their homes and be like, I don't even remember why I have that. Great, get rid of it.
What happens when they come across something that they do want to hold to and they're not likely to let go? I mean, you just have them put in another room? Do they fight you, or?
No one ever really argues with me. So, like, a great example was my good friend and client, Demetrius. Demetrius was a collector, right?
Hoarder or collector?
See, I knew you were going to go that direction. You're such a jerk, Ben. No, he was not a hoarder. He was a collector. All of his items were beautifully displayed. He had huge china cabinets full of these items of like seashells and different items that he's collected on his travels. And these were not things that you could just throw into a closet and get out of the way. So I let him know, like, hey, these things are going to be in the photos because you can't move them. But, you know, make sure you're just dusting off everything and you're making sure that you have an idea of what everything is, because there's going to be people coming through this house and they're going to have to move around. So I did ask him to move a couple items to just create a better flow in the house itself. But, you know, everything was fine in that regard. And I was able to assist him with getting a mover that I knew was going to take great care of his items. The mover that I work with helped pack everything for him. You know, they
He must have been like worried that someone's going to screw up everything that he's collected over the decades.
Exactly.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of work.
Didn't blame him either. You know, he had 25 to 30 years of items that he's cherished for most of his life. And so I made sure that we had to be very sensitive to that, and also that we were able to kind of conduct business in a way that he felt safe and comfortable.
I want to shift into, it's kind of an odd question, but what trends do you feel have been apparent in the real estate business over the past 3 to 4 years that are kind of dying out? More specifically on the business side.
The only thing I want to see dying out is people saying in their listing descriptions, this won't last. That's the only thing I want to see dying. If that literally kills me every time I see it, you know, because I feel that is such a way to cheapen somebody's legacy in their home.
Can you talk more about that? That's interesting.
Yeah, sure. Like to say like, oh, this won't last. Now for some reason we are taking, you know, and again, even if it's an investor who has, you know, taken a house, completely torn out everything in it, put everything brand new,
right?
You're going to now cheapen all of their work by saying, oh, this won't last. You better hurry up and come check this out. Like, no, like it's not about how quickly something can sell for. We should be really honing in on the actual quality of the work and things of that. And that's where I want my content to go too, right? I don't want to just flash around a house anymore. I want to tell the story of it. I want to tell how this builder has been working the last 20 years to now get to this point and actually perfect the style of home that they're doing. And I just feel that that's so much more interesting than trying to sell something as quickly as possible.
Well, it gives me a thought, and this goes in line with like social media and everything in terms of like short form content being the dominant media form like across platforms, right? So whatever the medium is, it tends to over time when it's repeated becomes numb. Right, like, or the audience becomes numb to it, right? So you could say the same thing with like flashy 3-4 second videos on a house, right? Or even me, a mortgage guy, doing a 4 or 5 second tidbit on, ooh, mortgage insurance, whatever. But whereas like if you tell a story, it goes deeper, it's more interesting. I think people are shifting to that because it's, I don't know what it is chemically that it does to someone, but I think it's more enjoyable. When you just watch a 5 second thing, it's just it's a dopamine hit, right? It's like, that was entertaining. Whereas like if you tell the story of a house, what it's been through, whether it's the work or it has legitimate like historical significance, it resonates more with the consumer, and it's probably much more powerful when it comes to selling it anyway. I mean, that's what I would think.
Yeah, I agree with that, and there to not knock any of that kind of quick hits. Those are good too, because you do want to attract as much attention to a property as possible. So that's why I do both. I do a lot of the kind of longer form content, and longer form isn't a 7-minute video. It's just, a simple kind of maybe minute video that talks about the house itself. And, another thing that I've actually started moving into for longer form is just simple house tours, walking through the house with people, and just going back to that kind of basic idea is that people want to know more about the house, right? That's what's going to get them in there. And for me, that has been very, very rewarding in the kind of interactions that I'm getting.
Like you're getting more meaningful reactions with the prospective purchasers. Potentially. You get to know them better, I imagine, too. Do you style the tours in a particular way? Like, do you have like a plan, or you just go through it? You have a basic set of questions that you ask them?
So
this is me trying to pull the secrets from you, by the way.
No, yeah, of course, absolutely. So the home tour video idea is something that I stole from another agent, Roland Osage, and Matt, his last name unfortunately escapes me. They're Bay Area realtors, and they have been doing a very successful 7-minute home tours on TikTok, where it's just very simple, them walking through the home with a voiceover kind of describing it. And home tours were like that in the beginning, and we kind of went away from it during maybe the pandemic because people weren't being, or maybe it was the reverse of that. They couldn't actually get into the houses. So those quick videos became super popular because everybody was kind of glued to their phones. And as we grow out of that, like you had said before, when people kind of want a little bit more of a long form, they want a little bit more depth, or maybe just a little bit more, I don't know, a feeling out of it, right? They're moving away from those quick second little hits of the dopamine hit videos. So they found extreme success in this, in just kind of walking through the house, doing a little voiceover, explaining it, and just throwing in little jokes here and there to show their personality. And it's awesome seeing that. And I've just been trying to duplicate that in my own way.
So do you find that those videos, do they bring in, like, what results do you get from it? Does it bring in new business? Does it help sell you that property specifically? Does it get you general exposure? Does it help you connect with other agents, or kind of a mix of all of it, would you say?
I think it more so is promoting new business, because it starts bringing in people. They're attracted to it. They stay on brand a little bit longer. What I mean by staying on brand is they actually stay on my page longer because of that. And because they're staying on brand, they actually go ahead and they dive into the other videos that I have out there.
The library, do you have that structured in a specific way? Are they different, like, styles, categories?
Interesting. So no, I don't have a particular structure. Maybe I should. Maybe I could start implementing like the highlights on an Instagram as to like, hey, these are buyer videos. Hey, these are seller videos, stuff like that. But I just mean in terms of the overall amount of content. You'll see my page. It's all videos, basically.
Yeah, I've seen it. I haven't seen it for a minute, but yours is always entertaining.
It's always videos, right? And so
it should be videos.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the statement for all real estate agents over the last 5 years is you have to be on video. You have to be on video.
Yeah.
It's not have to anymore. It's must be. Yeah, Otherwise, you don't exist.
Well, and the truth is, and this goes in part with what I wanted to ask you as well, is that for real estate agents, mortgage brokers as well, part of what we're always trying to do is generate new business, right? While in this case, you can simultaneously generate new business and serve your current clients while marketing their properties, which is even better. But it's a way of generating business that isn't cringe, right? That is very natural. To me, I find anything that gives people value is not cringe, right? So giving them value, whether it's like tips on what's going on with the market or just like a reality of what's going on in the market, is also tremendously valuable. Saying things that a lot of people are scared to say. So would you even say that like that's something that a lot of agents don't do, is put themselves out there and give value in a way? And like, I'm thinking it's because maybe people are scared to go on video, or they're scared of being judged by their colleagues. But it's probably one of the best ways to generate business that doesn't like feel exhausting.
Yes, it doesn't feel exhausting. And I think most people right now, their inability to adapt to that didn't start with just video. It started with either texting, maybe even. Like, I don't know, like to say that people are afraid to go on video now, it's no longer the case. Like, it's been here for too long that it's not a fear thing. It's not a fear of being judged. It's not a fear of looking silly.
What do you think it is?
It's
technical ability?
No, it's they don't want to. They just don't care. They don't care enough to try to get in front of new people. And that's fine.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Less competition for Kyle.
I'm collecting up all of the new people here. And again, you know, this may be the agent that's been doing this for 25, 30 years, 40 years. Doesn't matter, right? I'm putting myself ahead of you by simply doing the bare minimum when it comes to video right now.
Right.
And even though I
think that's very critical of yourself, Kyle. You do quite a bit.
Again, you know, it's and the thing is that it's never about me. None of my videos are about me.
Right.
They're always about a specific person that I'm trying to speak to. So,
can you talk about that a little bit more?
Oh, sure.
Because I think I know. I'll give you mine. Right. When I started doing video in 2018, but it started when I took this like 3-day weekend class with this influencer guy in Texas in 2015. And he had us do this exercise where it was basically describe your ideal client.
Oh, I love it.
Like from the very minute
go.
they wake up to the very minute they go to bed. Like, what are they like? Did you do something similar?
So let me tell you about Gus.
Okay.
So Gus is a 25 to 35-year-old man who is either in a committed relationship or is already married. He lives in an urban area, but is looking to move to a more suburban type zone where he still has that feeling of being close to his favorite bars and restaurants, but can still also go home to his beautiful house, wherever it may be. He may already have a child, or he's considering having children soon, and that is my avatar. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
you answered that very well.
I love the morning to night. That's a great way of thinking of it too. So I can even dive even more specifically into that.
Can you? Yeah.
I mean, I should be, right?
Yeah.
I should start thinking about what are Gus's interests? What are Gus's lifestyle like? Is Gus a gym person? Is Gus a foodie? Is Gus a person that has certain political ideas maybe?
Yeah.
You know, something like that, you know? And I used ChatGPT to kind of design who Gus is, and now I have different divisions of ChatGPT to cater my content towards specifically Gus.
Wait, how do you use ChatGPT for it?
Oh,
actually, before we get into that, I had another thought.
Sure.
By getting more granular, like with who your client is, because I think another thing that people struggle with is, when I say people, I mean business people, struggle with when it comes to consumers, is genuinely connecting with them,
right,
and finding a way to be interested in their interests, right? So do you feel by going through that exercise of getting granular with their interest, hobbies, all that stuff, it's got to be much easier to connect with them beyond like, okay, you want a house with X amount of bedrooms and this type of thing. It's like you can get more of the vibe of the house that they're looking for beyond those metrics, right? Am I making, you can tell me if I'm not making sense.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we're specifically talking about buyers, right?
Right.
My buyer consult ends with how many bedrooms and bathrooms you want in the house.
Yeah.
It begins with, hey, what's going on in your life right now that you don't want to change? Because everything's going to change after you buy a house.
What does that question typically reveal? It's a good question.
It reveals to me kind of what's super important to them.
Yeah.
And it's always, generally speaking, it's going to be community, it's going to be lifestyle, and it's going to be their work, right? I want to make sure that they understand that if they're going to move from an area like Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, out into Long Island, right? And that's typically the buyer that I'm speaking to right now. Right. Hey, guess what? Long Island doesn't have a subway. What do you want your commute time to be? Literally what you want your commute time to be. Don't tell me that you'd be comfortable with an hour if you're not comfortable with an hour.
Right.
All right. We'll work on getting you there within 35 minutes and see if you'd be able to take 45. Right.
Yeah, you're taking things into account beyond just, price point.
No,
And,
exactly.
yeah,
Because all of those things could change too. Right.
Yeah, I mean, if I had I want my realtor to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, just, you have to think about a lot of and I say this, Kyle, because I'm a finance person, right? So that's what I go to. I go to monthly payment, closing costs, but
that's why I don't.
Yeah.
I of course consider those things.
Yeah.
I consider those items,
Because that's a
especially
huge part of the lifestyle.
especially if the buyer hasn't yet. When I ask them, okay, what do you want your monthly payment to look like? A lot of times I get these bug eyes being like, I don't exactly know what that means. I was like, oh, okay, great. That's why I'm going to connect you to Ben, and he's going to talk all about that with you.
So on that, I wanted to talk about, I do want to go to the AI thing, but I wanted to ask you, how do you typically get in front of that consumer that lives in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan? Like, is it referral based? Is it social media? Are you going to events there? Like, how do you typically, I wouldn't say find, but attract that ideal client for you?
Absolutely. So I'm attracting those types of clients through social media. Facebook and Instagram, still about 70% of where my business is coming in from.
That's amazing.
But then, I've also really dialed back a little bit on that and have focused very hard on sphere calls and just dialing out to people that I have had conversations with over the last 10 years revolving around real estate.
Okay, so I have another question, but we will get back to the AI thing in a second. So I know a lot of people in the business who want to do what you just said, okay, but they're unable to do it because they don't really know what to say beyond, how's the house, how's the kids, by the way, do you have any referrals for me? Mm-hmm. Do you have a unique approach that allows you to genuinely still be interested in them and their lives while, like, do you build value through it? Like, what's your typical approach?
So if I'm specifically talking to maybe a past client, it of course starts out with that. It starts out with, hey, how's everything going with the house? How's everything going with your lives? I typically go on to Facebook and I interact with them there first. I interact with them there first. I like a lot of their stuff. I comment on it, and that's not a tactic. That's just me being a person, people. Right. That's just it. You have to be a person first, agent second. Every single time, right?
That's great.
Every single time. And that's why people are afraid to do it, because they feel like, oh, this person probably thinks I just want something from them.
Right.
People want something from everybody all the time.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're the person that gives something first, though, then it's so easy to ask for something from them. So the system that we have in place right now, I set everybody up on a monthly market report. So if they're a past client of mine, they will generally get an email from me, which was a monthly value on their home, plus also what's ever happened in the neighborhood. If there have been recent sales, they'll get information about that. And if I see that they've opened it, that's my conversation starter. I go, hey, we send these market reports out to you. Have you seen it? Yes, I have, Kyle. Thanks so much for sending it. Oh, great. What do you think about it?
So do these conversations lead to either additional transactions, whether it's through referrals or from them wanting to buy maybe an investment property or sell their current home? How often does that type of thing happen?
The beauty of it is that I don't think about where it's going to end. And I think that's one thing.
Oh no, I
right?
agree that that's how you have to approach it.
You have to approach it where I have no idea where it's going to end up.
Because otherwise that agenda will seep through your speech and it will come off as disingenuous. I get that, yeah.
After I have started this approach, and like I said, I have a database that ranges all the way back to 2017. These are people that I've maybe had conversations with in the last month. These are people that I've maybe never even spoken to in the last 3 or 4 years.
Nice.
But I approach everything from a very simple standpoint of just being like, hey, this is the value that I can provide you right now. Is this something that you may or may not need?
So, quick question, and I know that we've basically ran out of time, so but this is important. Is your approach any different for a client that you haven't spoken to in 3-4 years versus a client that you closed 5 months ago?
The approach is a little bit different. I think it's all from like the kinds of scripts that I go over and things of that nature. Like the big one, and I'll share this now because it's awesome that I have it memorized. I love that, the acting background, right? So whenever I pick up the phone and it's somebody that I haven't really spoken to in a long time, I just go, hey, this is Kyle Cheng from the Aaron-based real estate team at Real. Does that name sound familiar to you? And they either say yes or no. And I go, oh, I can appreciate that. It may have been some time since the last time we spoke. You know, we are reaching out to people in our database right now that we've had conversations with revolving around real estate over the last couple of months, maybe even into the last couple of years. See, my team and I, we have an extraordinary goal of assisting 130 families with their real estate needs this year, fully aware that that might not be you. But on the off chance that it is, I just want to be very clear, completely transparent, and direct with you. See if I could be of any value to you in 2025 and beyond. Do you happen to have any real estate needs right now?
That's an amazing pitch.
Yeah.
I have to say, not just because of, I mean, what you're saying is key because it's disarming. It's really disarming. It's not salesy, and your tone is awesome. Yeah, the tone is key. The acting background helps. You're cheating, Kyle. With your background, you're cheating. That's great. I imagine that works. And
I deliver that every single time to any single person that I'm talking to.
And it's not cringe or salesy or exhausting to say because it's so genuine, right? And I think that's also why like a lot of people in both sides of the business struggle to make their daily 100 whatever number of calls is because after 3 or 4 they're exhausted from picking up the phone and say, hey, you looking to buy or sell, right? So like when you take that approach, a human approach that doesn't, you know, scream sale, 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 it's easier for you to be consistent with it as well because it's pleasant, it's nice, it's professional, which we need more of.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so we are again a little out of time. I do want to go back to how do you use Kyle, and thank you for sharing that, by the way, because that's really cool. I'm gonna like throw versions of that into our approach, by the way. How do you use Chat GPT for your business? You were talking about Gus specifically as well, but are there any other ways that you use AI?
Am I using AI? So specifically as a video script generator. So I have already trained ChatGPT to understand the wants and needs of Gus, my avatar. And so what I'll do is I'll take an article that I think is interesting about a certain community. For the specific example I can go with right now, Schmackery's, a cookie brand, opened up its first Long Island location in a town that I live close by to. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me talk about this. I took the article from Newsday, pumped it into there, being like, hey, listen, this is for Gus. I want, read this article for me and take the tidbits that are really important. Location of the place, their hours, anything in terms of like the flavors that they offer and stuff like that people like Gus might want to know about. Right. And it will spit out the different key talking points that I need to speak about. And then I do a talking head video with a green screen behind me of Schmackery's, the location, everything like that.
You just record it selfie style on your phone, or how do you do it?
On my phone, selfie style with a green screen. I'll go sentence by sentence because the script will be completely written for me already. Amazing. Of exactly how I want to say things. And, I had to teach Chat exactly about my tonality, about the audience that I want to attract. So now that Chat understands it, and I call it Chat, like, I can be in my car, and if I'm in traffic, I'll load up ChatGPT and I'll just talk to Chat about a specific topic that I want to put out there for a video content idea.
How long would you say that process takes you? Well, before you continue, I imagine, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, that when you first had to build it out, that took a while. and what now, like you enter in the idea and it's, there's some back and forth, but it doesn't take too long.
So the kind of idea that I'm going with is called a custom GPT, and that's building out a specific use for chat. Yeah. And so that portion doesn't take as long as you would imagine, right? And I think what everybody says that when they're talking about AI.
Yeah.
But when you're talking to the person that has just decided to get ChatGPT, you can actually ask ChatGPT, hey, how do I build a custom GPT? And it will show you the exact formula on how you do it. It'll tell you like, okay, let's start with what subject do you want to talk about, right? And then you'll say the subject that you want to talk about, and it'll be great. And it will give you a couple of suggestions on how to actually build it out. And from there, you create that. So if I showed you my ChatGPT right now, there are 3 custom GPTs that I probably use on a daily basis.
Oh, wow.
One is that community kind of article reading and video script spit out. So literally, I just will go to a Newsday, go to a Long Island Press, whatever it is, copy the URL, put it in, and say, hey, do your job, and click.
Erica, we need to do this. What are the other 2?
The other 2 is a copywriter for Gus. Cool. So if I see a property that I really like on MLS or Matrix, etc., I will copy and paste the description of the property into it. And you're like, hey, I want to make this for Gus. I'm going to promote this property in a way, but I want you to key in on all of the stuff that's in here and point out the things that Gus would really love so that I can highlight it in a video.
And the third?
And the third one is a seller net sheet generator.
That's awesome.
So I will plug into it. Be like, hey, this is for a seller specifically. These are the price points that we're thinking of listing the property at. I need you to generate in a Excel sheet or in like a table for me, breaking down specifically like what they owe, and it will scrub every public data that it can for the taxes, for their mortgage, everything.
That's amazing.
Yep, and then I'll implement any information that I see incorrect, and it'll adjust it for me.
You double check it, of course. How many hours a month would you say this saves you?
Oh my God, I used to like struggle so hard with like video scripts and stuff like that, or just like bumming off somebody else's and trying to make it my own. This probably saves me at minimum, I would say, 10 to 20 hours a week.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
In terms of everything that I'm doing.
Yeah, and the quality is better as well.
The quality is better.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. I use ChatGPT, but not the way you do. You've given me a lot, so thank you.
And again, like I've been fortunate that I've gone to conferences where people are talking about the stuff and how they're using it. So by no means is this all my original ideas.
That's okay.
I borrow them from other people. And
that's. I mean, they shared them, right? Yeah. So the difference is that you took action on them, which I think is another thing people struggle with. But that's another time. Okay, Kyle, we're gonna wrap this up.
Cool.
Before we do, just because we didn't actually talk about real estate itself that much.
What's
so that? Any final...
I thought this was a podcast about the innovative dilemma.
That's
why I read the book.
It's actually about the Big Ben.
It's about the Big Ben. Yeah, that's right.
Any final, let's say, advice for people looking to buy or sell in the next 6 months? What is unique about this market? If anything, the answer could be nothing too, by the way. Anything interesting about this market that people should know before getting into it?
Absolutely. So for my buyers out there, I was actually going to put out a video like this. I want you to know that DOM is your BFF. What does that mean, Kyle? Yeah. So that's days on market. Days on market is going to be your new best friend if you're a buyer in this market right now. And you should be focusing heavily on any properties that have been on the market longer than 60 to 90 days. Those are your opportunities to get in. And I think that any buyer right now should be recognizing that interest rates are interest rates. You are going to, can I curse?
Yes.
You're going to eat shit for like the next 5 years buying a house.
Yeah.
That's it. Right? Yeah. But the whole point of it is to own it. And as long as it meets your criteria, it fits your lifestyle, and you do want to have an appreciating asset in your life for the next 5 years, then you should be buying a house, right? It's okay to rent. Rent as long as you want. If you can maybe buy an investment property, great. But renting is great, especially if you don't plan on being in New York for the next 5 to 10 years. Right. Do it, you know? But if you're a buyer in this market right now, look at days on the market, because these are homes that were aspirational at their price point, or there's some sort of condition that other people can't look past that maybe you can.
Yeah, I'm seeing that on the lending side. A lot of the deals that we're getting contracts on, 60 days plus, 90 days plus. It's more frequent. I just got an accepted offer on one yesterday. It was an investor house, and I literally looked at it on Zillow for the contract hasn't come in yet. It's about to be signed. And the listing agent obviously is trying to do everything for a seller and play tough, and it's just like, I see a 80K price reduction and 70 plus days, whatever, on the market. It's like, okay, like, we're going with this one. And that type of scenario has become more frequent. It's not all the time, right? Like, I mean, you know better than I do. If it's priced appropriately, it will fly.
Should,
right? Yeah,
exactly. And so I love that you segued into that. If anyone is looking to sell right now, like, just look at the data. Look at everything that's going on in your neighborhood right now. There are still hundreds of, if not thousands, of buyers for every house, as long as you market it correctly. So make sure that your agent is doing professional photography. Whatever fee structure you have set up with them, whatever idea of it, even if it's just an agent that said, hey, I'll charge you a flat fee to put it on the internet for you. Do not rely on cell phone photos, because the consumer right now is just going to say, oh, that's not a house for me. I don't want to look at it because of that.
What does that subliminally or subconsciously say to the consumer, right? Do you think that because what I'm getting is, like, if they can't be bothered to hire a photographer, or they take a basic cell phone picture, they probably didn't take that good care of the house.
That's 100% it. They take no interest in the house because the owner has no interest in it.
Well said.
Simple as that. And it's not the owner's fault either, because they don't understand. They don't know the importance of that. I don't expect a seller to understand that a professional photographer is different than me willy-nilly around the house with my cell phone. I get that. But to that point, as interest rates hopefully trek down, the buyers are really going to start coming out, and they're coming out strong.
They've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Well, when it does come, something we talked about before, it's like, the Fed cut rates by 0.25%, but mortgage rates actually went higher after the announcement. So,
that happened the last time too.
It's about 50-50.
Right before the summer.
It's just kind of how it goes sometimes. On the mortgage side, we love it whether they cut rates either way, because it's great marketing for us. When the federal government does our marketing for us, it's wonderful. But unfortunately, consumers are disappointed when they learn what I just told you. Kyle, what is the best way for people to get in contact with you?
Hey, you simply call your agent, Agent Kyle Cheng.
Boom. Love it. Kyle, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
You are the man.
Appreciate you.
And the gangster.
And the gangster.